What
Yeah.
is that kernel of magic in you?
It's funny because like from the one of my one something that I had to get over at some point was that the very first conversation that I remember hearing was because I was raised by my grandparents, and it was a conversation
Hmm.
about what were they going to do with me when they died. And I was like, because I didn't understand what death was. I was like, well, when is that happening? Like, is it happening next week?
Wow.
When, you know what I mean? It was like so confusing to me,
Yeah.
And
Oh,
my whole life, they always talked about they were going to die next year, next month. They're
wow.
always talking about dying. And like it was just, I just always like was so heavy in my heart, right? And I don't know, I was like pretty new into my inner work world. It's about 35 or something, and they were going on about, yeah, probably could just hang me in a tree, gonna be dead next week. And I'm like, I looked at my mom and I was like, you're not dead. So you better get busy living. You don't, they're very religious. And I'm like, you don't think that you're still here for a reason? Why do you keep talking about dying instead of living?
Oh,
And
how did
like
they react?
both of my parents were like, because I was a pretty easygoing, flowy kid, but I was just
Yeah.
over it. It's just over this death conversation. It's like, you're here, live. And that translates to, okay, so it didn't meet your pictures, didn't match your picture. Life never does. Life never gives you exactly what you're asking for. It gives you what something that's very much deeper. It will give you what you asked for, but it's going to give it to you in a way that you never imagined it coming, right? And so it's like, I don't care how many times you screwed the pooch, you fell back into addiction, you did whatever. I don't care what divorce you're on. Get busy living. Like what do you want to choose now? And the cool thing is, and like the lighter part of it is that I think that we can begin again all day every day. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Okay, what next? Okay, that didn't, it. And I think that if you're not framing every day with different choices and letting yourself start over, giving yourself a chance. Like there's been so many times in my life where I was not conscious of it entirely, but I was in this energy of give up, right? And I remember it happened like recently, actually, while I was developing this, because I think that I tend to, while I was developing this event, and I tend to the events tend to work me. Like the theme and all the stuff. It's like, oh, where are you still doing this, Missy? And I so this really heaviness came through. And I just heard this like, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. And that's what I would say to people listening, right? That like maybe you have like sometimes the fear of failure can be really sneaky. It can be a scaling back of your true desire. Well, because you've decided this other thing is not going to happen for you. So it's like you settle slowly, slowly. It's okay if that
Yeah.
never happens. I don't care about all that now. I don't care about all that. Maybe, maybe not, but
Yeah.
would you be willing to give yourself a chance? Your heart knows your future. That divine spark in you has a divine expression that it's trying to get to. Now, it may not look like the externals that you had placed before yourself, but you know if you are leaving it all on the court, right? Don't you know
Yeah.
when you've left it all on the court?
Oh, totally. Totally. You've hit the mark or not. And you would talk a lot in my recovery process about the power of choice. And I love that the
Mm.
universe is what a gift, y'all, that we have choice, that we have the choice of where we place our attention. And if we're smart, we start to recognize, oh, the more I place my attention on one thing, I'm going to get more of that, whether it's good or bad. And the fact that in every moment, no matter how bad it gets, unless you're dead, and there's breath in your body, you have choice about where you place your attention. That is very powerful. And I think I've been tried enough that I realize, whoa, I can't believe I still have choice, but I still do. I'm still here. Why don't I really put that to use? What instead of just settling, how about if I put that energy into what I would really like? My dreams as big as I would like, as beautiful as I can imagine, as inclusive as I can possibly dream, rather than castigating myself continually and feeling like I'll never be enough and blah blah blah. And anyway, you get it.
I do get it. Yeah. So what just came through right there? What was the pause? I can't my coach goggles are on, so it was
Ah,
there was an energy that you were following that was
yeah.
yes, 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 I'm going to
I it's a passion in my heart for the people that are so close to the edge of giving up, or like, I mean, there's so much despair in the world right now. There's so much despair, and yet there's so much reason for excitement and hope. And we are at the precipice of something so extraordinary, y'all. It has been foretold since the beginning, but it's going to get a little uglier before it gets better. And it's an exciting time. And that we're still here and that we have choice matters so much. And I think there's no greater time than right now to begin again, to innovate, to think differently about the way we might show up and contribute. The stage is set for that, y'all. It's so set.
yeah, thank you. I'm glad I asked,
Yeah.
because like I too have a deep knowing and compassion for that. There's been a lot of times the thing that's different than me than maybe a lot of people is that I'm like a weeble. Like and I may be aging myself here, but there was this little toy when we were kids because we didn't have the fancy toys that they have
Beep
now.
balls wobble, they don't fall
Fall
down.
down, right? So there's been so many times that I blew it up. Like I like to say, I think I've made more bad choices than most people have made choices. Like it's, and that's partly how we learn, right? That's partly how
Yeah.
we grow. And just so many times that I'm like, what's the point? Does it even matter what I'm doing? Am I even helping anybody? Like, or just being like, just at that moment of like wanting to give up, right?
Yeah.
And somehow my little weeble self just keeps throwing me back up, and like I just can't quit, and so I just keep getting back up. And
Mm,
even when I get a little bit down, I'm like, well, this is cute, but you're gonna get back up. So like how long do you need to wallow in this? But because you're
right.
gonna get back up, right? And
Right.
so that choice to get back up, that choice, because that strengthens you,
Yes, it
and like
does.
a little baby, if it doesn't fall down, it will never develop the muscles that to walk that it takes to stand up from the fall down. So the falling
Mhm,
down is a prerequisite to the strength required. And I would
mhm.
say that we forgot that because that's actually how life works. The falling down is a prerequisite to getting up and to getting up stronger and to getting up with more power and more roots and more possibility, right? So I I think that I have been through so much in my life. And I think the one thing I could say I'm the most proud of is that I didn't give up. I may have paused. I may have blown some shit up, but I didn't give up. And the thing is, like, there's a story in Think and Grow Rich about a guy that was a gold treasure hunter or whatever, and he had this thing that there was this treasure he was supposed to find, and he scoured the world and he didn't find it, and he gave up, and he was just like all forlorn and all the things. And then he dies, right? He moves out of this house that he was in and dies. Come to find out the treasure was in his backyard. Like
Oi.
so like we're all closer than we know to that choice that will bring us hope and faith and possibility. You know, we're all so much closer than we know. And, you know, if you're listening to this, my message for you is don't give up. Like we
Don't
we
give.
we fuck up more than anybody almost, and
Yeah.
we just keep getting back up again because what else are we gonna do here on planet Earth?
Yeah.
Like, because
It really
playing
is the
small
point.
hurts. Hmm?
It really is the point of being here. It really is. We chose to
Hmm.
be here because we wanted to fuck up. Because
Hmm.
there's so much value in learning. And
Hmm.
you know what? I mean, I have tried my character so much that it would be so easy to completely give up on myself. And I nearly did. And this is the truth. I can't believe how strong I am. Can't believe. I felt so weak as a kid. I was bullied a lot. I felt so weak as a kid. I am so strong. And that comes from having tried so much, you know? So I can't give up anymore. I mean, they can take me out screaming and kill me if they want, but I'm not going out until I'm going to do my best because I know I'm that strong. And if you're still here and you have that calling, that's in you too. That's in you too.
Hmm. Yeah. Ah, you know, there's a saying, it in a lot of different modalities call it a different thing, but the way I remember it, the best is the way that Access Consciousness says it, and it's your wrongness is your strongness. And it's because that thing that you think is so weak about you is actually your brilliance. And that's part of the treasure hunt of life, is that we have to look at those things and go, right? Like you believed you were weak, and the bullying, you thought it was because of the bullying, but the bullying probably made you strong. The fact that you got through all of that, right, developed a power and a strength. And as you're coming back to life now, as you're beginning again now, as you're coming back from, wow, deep, dark shit. And I'm so glad you chose back in.
Me too.
I'm so
Me too.
grateful, Eric. Like, there's an energy that you are that we require on this planet. And I'm so glad you're here. And that's true for all of us. There's something that we're here for a reason, right? And
Yeah.
that thing that you think that makes that you're weak is actually you're strong. I've done this so many times in workshops where I go, okay, what's your biggest fuck up? Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I'm da 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 da. It's always the person who thinks they're ugly is always the prettiest one in the room. The person who thinks they're dumb is always the smartest one in
It's
the room
funny, isn't it?
every
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, I want you to know that there is so much power and strength in everything you're calling a fuck up. Pardon the French. Maybe I'm not. Is that French? Merde. Come tell you.
Speak it, whatever it is.
Mhm. Yeah. So I want to talk about this event I have coming up, because this feeling that I have had in my life of I've always had a really hard time with failure. And it has taken me this long to reframe it. And I think I'll probably always be reframing it, right? It's in some way. It's like the conditioning in our society and in religion and this perfectionism and stuff, it just makes it really hard in some ways, you know. And I find that the most naturally successful people are the people who were trained that failure wasn't bad. You know, like they lived in an environment where they were allowed to fall and fail and all the rest of it. And so I wasn't raised in that environment, so I want to create that environment for you all to actually see the beauty and the gifts and the pearls and everything you're calling wrong, and to actually take that and re-engage your life force, your desire, your dream, your code that you came here to open and live your life. And so, um, and you know, this is fun because this happens to me all the time where I choose a weekend I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it was solstice. And that the event is called Begin Again. I'm like, oh, it's apparently I'm hosting a solstice party next weekend. Um, so Eric and I would like to invite you. Eric's coming to play, and we would like to invite you to this 2-day event. It's Friday evening, um, for about 3.5, 4 hours, and then on Saturday all day. And then we're going to do a rewiring afterwards for a couple of weeks, but it's a very deep dive. There are two ways to play. One is that you can be one of the in-person people, but there are limited seats. I don't want it to be a big group because it's gonna be very tender and we're gonna go really deep. We're gonna have a lot of fun, but we're gonna dive and mine the deep treasures. And if that feels a little scary to you, or you're not up for flying in that weekend and you live somewhere else in the world, you can take it live stream, and there's open seating on the live stream. And it's a lot less expensive because you don't get the one-on-one facilitation in the same way, but you do get all the processes. I'm really proud of this event. It's very different than anything I've ever seen out there. And we're going to do the real work of excavating what you're allowing to stop you, what you're calling failure, what you're calling wrong. And we're going to transmute that into a power, into a strength that will drive you forward into your dream.